and welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for younger gamers by gamers. I'm Hex.
And I'm Bajo.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N, Australia's favourite robot.
Where'd you get that statistic from, Darren?
My wiki.
Wikis don't count if you write them yourself, Darren.
Coming up in the show, we'll be meeting with some spawnlings, answering more of your questions in Ask Good Game, and checking out one of the best games we've played this year, Civilization 5.
The fate of our people is now in your hands.
Plus, I'll be continuing my fascinating exploration of the pixel with an in-depth look at polygons and wireframes.
I'm so looking forward to that, Darren.
Well, get that review stuff out of the way and we can get stuck into it.
He's going to go on for ages.
Affirmative.
About lines and numbers and polygon graphicals.
Garage shading.
Sid Meier's Civilization has always had that perfect blend of exploration, diplomacy, combat, and it's all wrapped up in this epic ball of strategy. If you've never played a Civ game before, you really should, you know. It's one of those games that just gets better every time you play it. You're always learning and always perfecting that approach to world domination.
Ah, world domination.
Yeah, once again, the latest Civ is the best Civ, and this really does feel like the update to the series that fans have been waiting for, and there's just so many ways to play and win this game.
I usually just build giant death robots and laser everybody until the planet is mine.
Well, yes, that's one way to do it, but you can also just become the best world leader. The most liked world leader will win, and you can do this by being fair and trading freely and not making war with everybody.
You'll need to learn how to deal with other world leaders diplomatically and get a friend or two on your side, because there's always someone that gangs up on you, or you may need to access precious resources in another leader's territory.
The AI of each world leader is quite interesting to engage. They'll get tetchy if you surround their territory with too many units and they'll start pumping out defense. It's fun trying to convince all the other world leaders to wipe each other out.
I'm always surprised when they try to ask to negotiate for peace. As if.
Your path to world domination starts in ancient times when you have to send out settlers and build towns, and then start working the land so that you can research technologies and get bigger and better. You'll go from making archers to building tanks and bombs.
Unlike past Civ games, you can't stack all your military units on one tile, so there's a lot of strategy here to where you place your combat units in order to protect what you've got, or to invade your neighbours, because they can clearly see everything you put out on the map.
One of the big changes that has really made Civilization 5 better than the previous versions is that the whole world is now set out on a hex grid. Now, a hex grid means added depth because it really gives you more options when moving your units about the map, and it also changes the way the borders of cities expand.
You'll also need to strategically place your towns to block off other civilizations from getting at precious resources. Some wily border relations will stop that as well, because they can't cross your borders unless they declare war on you. It's all quite in depth.
There are all sorts of little tweaks that have been made to Civ 5, and it really stands out as being super polished. If you get really good at it, it'll continue to challenge you, but it's also really easy to learn. There's nothing like playing online with a bunch of friends to really learn the ropes.
Yeah, it's a pretty sleek and snappy interface. All the menus come up really fast, and there was always a bit of lag with the other Civ games. And there are a lot of menus to flip through because you need to play with things like policies, which determines how you rule your people, and you can change this every time you play.
Spaceships are another way to win the game. The first one to build one gets to go into space, and then it's game over for everyone else.
Actually, there's one thing that they haven't made better, the victory screen. It's not really a spoiler, but if you don't want to see it, just look away for a second. Here it is. Yeah, that's it.
I know, it's that same static image. In a science fiction, you don't even get to see your spaceship take off. It just sits there. But you know what I love about this game is that it lets you focus on what interests you. It can be all about trade negotiation if you want, or you can focus on science. You don't have to blow everything up, but you can. Discovery is always one hex away. I'm giving it 9 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's like a whole bunch of Civilization fans got together and said, let's fix all the stuff that's been bugging us. I loved it, Hex. I'm giving it 9 too. And, you know, if you're looking at this sort of game for the first time, don't judge it just on how it looks. There's so much fun to be had here. You just need to give it a go.
There's also the replay value. Thanks to the built-in mod support, the replay value is essentially unlimited. I'm giving it 9 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Darren, we've talked about this. You're not allowed to score.
But Bajo, I think we should negotiate that. How about a little diplomacy? I see you've got some plutonium over there. I could trade you some grilled cheese sandwich resources for that.
No, it's my plutonium. Stop trying to take my plutonium.
I don't know, man. Grilled cheese. Tasty.
2 grilled cheese sandwiches?
Hex, it says here your brain is moving at 3 million miles per hour.
That's because I'm super smart.
Oh wait, no, it's just a bit of sandwich grit.
Yep. All right, Bajo, stop fooling around. There's literally millions of questions to answer.
Not actually on. I can answer questions and fool around at the same time because I'm a multitasking answering superhero. We've discussed this on my blog.
All right, well, it sounds like we're going to have a lot of fun this week. Let's start with this one from Kirby in Hobart, Tasmania.
What's it like down there? Cold?
Hello, Hex, Bajo and Darren. Noob. My friend who is a permanent noob only likes playing one game, Mario Kart on the Wii.
Well, Kirby, if kart races are her thing, then I'm sure she'd love Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing.
There's also Trackmania Wii, which is a lot of fun, and she might even enjoy getting into the creative side of things by building some tracks of her own. And this could help her experience more sides of gaming and de-noobify her quite substantially.
All right, well, that leads on to this one from DJ in Cairns, Queensland. Hex, Bajo, are there any good realistic racing games on the Wii? I've tried to ask you this question a couple of times, so please answer me, please, please, please.
Well, DJ, there are realistic racing games on the Wii, but, well, we wouldn't exactly say that they're good.
Yeah, I'm just checking with Darren now. I'm pretty sure he's going to say they're all shovel... Hello? Yeah, are they? Yeah, they're shovelware. I'll call you later. Yeah, okay. There are Wii versions of games like Dirt 2 and MotoGP, but the Wii kind of struggles to handle realistic racing as well as other consoles, so they're pretty dodgy and we wouldn't recommend those.
The best we could recommend would be Need for Speed Pro Street. It's not perfect and the cars kind of drive like boats, but it's real cars racing around tracks, so I'd say give that a go.
Yeah, alrighty, moving... Darren's sending me blog messages. Just called him a noob. It's a massive noob. Moving on to this from Fidget in Sydney, New South Wales. He was sending me cat videos. Deny him access to all internet. Dig it with Fidget. What's the world's longest and shortest game? P.S. At school, I had a bet that if this email got on, my friend will trade me his 2 level 100 Regigigas. If I lose, I trade him my level 100 Lucario and my level 100 Heatran. Please let me have 2 Regigigas.
Well, Fidget, we hope you enjoy your 2 new Regigigas, but to answer your question, well, that's a tricky one actually. I mean, the longest game would have to be something like The Sims or World of Warcraft, where there isn't actually an end. Either that or some epic RPG like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, as for the shortest, well, lots of arcade games are just one screen and last only as long as you can stay alive, so it's kind of hard to answer. I mean, how long is Pong? Hey, that rhymes. Long and Pong. Rhyming master. I'm going to call Darren and tell him about it.
Okay, well, moving on. We've got this one from Trent in Launceston, Tasmania.
Hey, Darren, get... Oh, you're looking on the webcam? He's been watching us this whole time.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
What is the difference between wired and wireless controllers?
Well, Trent, you pretty much answered your own question within your question. So wired controllers have a wire, whereas wireless controllers do not.
Yeah, a wired controller works by sending your button presses down a wire to the console, whereas wireless controllers use magic to transmit your inputs through the air. Also, wireless controllers need batteries.
It's always magic with you, isn't it, Hex? Actually, Trent, I don't want to get too technical on you. They work by using the Force. Let's move on to this from Tessa in Perth, Western Australia.
I've been really looking forward to Little Big Planet 2, but I heard that it's not getting released until next year now. Is this true, and do you know why? Also, do you have any new info about it? Thanks heaps.
Well, Tessa, you heard right. Little Big Planet 2 has indeed been delayed until January next year.
As for why it was delayed, developers Medium Molecule have said it simply so that they can have some extra time to make the game as good as they possibly can, which is fair.
Yeah, and there just really isn't much new info about it, although we have seen some very impressive results from people playing in the beta. Check out this recreation of Flow. Now let's move on to this from Joseph in Adelaide, South Australia. Hey, good game. I was wondering if you had any images or information in general about the 3DS and 3DS specific games. If so, it would be greatly appreciated if you could show me and the other spawnlings. Thanks heaps. Well, Joseph and Spawnlings, we did say once we knew the release date, we'd let you know, so here it is. The 3DS will be coming out in Australia on... Drumroll please, Hex. No drums, no sticks.
I'm a gamer, not a musician.
March 2011.
There's been heaps of games already announced for it, far too many for us to list, but personally I'm looking forward to the remakes of Lilac Wars and Ocarina of Time and the new Pilot Wings.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the new Kid Icarus especially, and Paper Mario and Mario Kart too. Alrighty, I think we've got time for just one more. How about this from Bridget in Toowoomba, Queensland? I grew up in Toowoomba. I had a cow and goats.
You did?
I did, and they were lovely. Their names were Mulu and Gertie, and I had a Bertie and Giddy.
I've seen a picture. You sent me a picture of your cow on my phone.
We had peacocks as well. That was so pretty.
Okay. Help me, I can't find a shop in Queensland that sells a boy and his blob, and I really, really want it. Please answer me or I'll cry. Well, Bridget, a boy and his blob is a bit of a tricky one to track down. It was fairly hard to find when it was new and they only brought in a few hundred copies, and since it's getting a bit old now, we think you're really going to struggle to find it in the shops.
We suggest trying to track it down on the internet. We searched for Boy and His Blob with the words buy and Australia and managed to find a few. Good luck, it's a great game.
Well, good luck with it, Bridget, and on that note, we're all out of time, spawners, so we'll be back next week, same spawn time, same spawn channel to answer more of your questions, so if you've got one, why not ask us here?
I got this box for you.
Thanks.
Now that all that wiffle waffle's out of the way, we can resume our conversation we were having about pixels from last week. We should move on to talk about polygons and wireframe models.
Guys, I just realised I left the PS3 running. It was downloading some updates and I don't want to leave it on because it's bad for the environment.
But it shuts off automatically.
Well, only if you hit the checkbox, Darren.
Oh.
Maybe she didn't hit the checkbox.
Well, it's just you and me then.
All right, but don't get too, don't go on too much. Let's just, keep things fairly simple.
Very well. I shall now explain wireframe models and polygons in simple terms. A polygon is a shape used to cover a section of a wireframe model to give it a three-dimensional appearance.
Well, Darren, that's too simple. You haven't even explained what a wireframe model is, have you? No, you haven't. A wireframe is a bunch of lines which connect to form a three-dimensional object.
These lines are used as the basis for everything in a 3D game. Characters, enemies, backgrounds, trees, you name it. Simpler shapes like cubes require only a few lines to construct, but more advanced shapes require far more lines and polygons.
The more polygons you use in a model, the smoother the model looks because you can blend them all together to make more realistic looking curves. In the early days, early 3D models looked pretty blocky because they could only have a few hundred polygons. Pikachu first appeared in 3D on the N64, but he had some pretty sharp edges and didn't look anywhere near as cuddly as he does today.
Affirmative, Bajo. Modern games are much more advanced. Consoles and computers nowadays are capable of rendering models with tens or even hundreds of thousands of polygons. The Pikachu from the game we reviewed last week, Pokepark, looks a lot rounder and smoother because he features far more polygons. I wouldn't cuddle him though. Robots do not cuddle.
Developers used to boast about their poly count, how many polygons they could show on screen at any given time, but they're so high now that developers don't really bother anymore, and that's probably a good thing because it's not really an accurate representation of how good a game is.
Affirmative. Once they've been placed on a wireframe, the polygons are textured to give detail to the model.
It's like wallpapering a room or painting a model, and these paint jobs are often referred to as skins because they skin the outer shell.
Affirmative. Bajo. Knock, knock.
I'm gonna regret this. Who's there?
Polly.
I'm regretting it. Polly who?
Polly's gone down to the shops.
Stuck in a loop. That brings us to the end of another Good Game Spawn Point, but we shall return next week with a review of the latest FIFA game, FIFA 11.
Don't forget to vote for your favourite gaming baddie in our website poll, and all the information's there too for you to enter Darren's Wiggles songwriting competition, where you could win a signed copy of SingStar Wiggles for the PS2.
How is the competition going, Darren? Have you had any entries so far?
Oh, very much so. I'm very impressed with the Spawnling's composition skills. Like this one from Erin.
Thanks.
Oh, great, thanks.
Darren the robot, he's our guy. He likes to charge his eyes. He's enhanced maximum power. He kills noobs by the hour. His spaghetti scoops give me the poops, but that is quite all right. He's the best at singing and has a toaster machine, and that's what makes him bright. In Darren's name for the SingStar thing, please let him sing.
That was great, Darren. Yeah.
That was really good.
Until next week, gamers, Bajo out.
Hex out.
Oh, here's another one. Oh, Darren, you're the best robot that Spawn has ever seen.
I like this bit. Although Bajo is pretty cool, Darren's the best there's been.
And Hex is cool, but we're no fool. Oh, Darren, you're the best.
In Halo Wars and Kingdom Hearts,
From noobs you'll set us free.
I love Spawn Point on ABC. From noobs you'll set us free.
It's lovely.
That was great.
Keep those entries coming in, Spawnlings.